Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hot Takes Valorant Edition, joined as ever by Zach. And Zach, you remember a couple of months ago when I said that NRG were probably going to crash and burn at Champs?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be fair, I think most of us had the same impression. Like, yes, they were a team that managed to make a surprisingly deep run at Americas. They weren't able to beat G2, who were looking to be the top team in Americas at that point. And yeah, all of a sudden, they're just running through champs. It is notable that they never ran into G2 again, but aside from that, everybody else they seem to be fine with.
And listen, it's okay if I could be wrong. It's better to own it. And my caveat was that they'll probably crash and burn. If they don't crash and burn, they'll probably do like some kind of miracle run instead. Either way, that miracle run I didn't think would be winning Champs. But there you go. Maybe we'll come back to that a little bit later. We'll talk about more recent stuff first, since that's old news already by now. Um, Maybe starting with the patch that has been announced yesterday, or kind of announced. Like,
Ugh.
we've not got patch notes yet. I feel like they had to kind of rush to get something out because everything was being leaked. Like, I don't know if were like on Twitter
Yeah,
or
I saw. I
Reddit
saw.
last
Like
night.
everybody was leaking. Yeah, everybody was leaking stuff, and then suddenly, like the official Valorant channel starts dropping videos every 20 minutes. Like this video is about the gun patch. This video is about the abilities, screw initiators, and they made it like in particular. Yeah, this video is for controllers, screw controllers. This video is for duelists. Yeah, Yoru, go back to McDonald's. They're no longer gonna be the meta duelists. My WhatsApp picture at this point. I'll just send it to you, Lee. You can laugh about it, but I literally had to change my WhatsApp picture for the last 2 weeks. I've been a Euro main, and as soon as I just get used to it, like life is so cruel. I'll
Yeah.
send you a screenshot of it.
Do we put it on screen?
Yeah, I don't mind. I think all Euro players would agree with me when I say this, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is us, guys. This is us with the next patch as soon as it hits.
Yeah.
This
There
is
you
literally my WhatsApp picture. I'm not even trolling. Like I'm not trolling right now. My mom was like, "Who is this?" And I was like,
go.
"You don't understand, mother, the pain of my life right now."
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah.
But so that was quite funny. Just the circumstances, as like any patch, usually they come out with the video and they have the patch notes written down. But it was just like you literally, I was trying to wanted to double check when I was putting this live this morning, just in case they actually released anything yet. And then you go on the website and it's got like a news section, new patch. You click it and it just links to the YouTube video where they're just like sort of explaining it without much detail. Still, the leakers are the ones like actually dropping stuff even today about the details of it. But the long and short of it
I mean,
is,
so the
yeah,
thing is that if you look at, so they drop like these 1 minute videos for each thing. Like this video is about gunplay, and it kind of shows the difference. Like that's how I wrote most of it. Like I was kind of zooming in, like, okay, the timer goes, it used to be this in game, now it goes to this. So yeah, shout out to all the dedicated leakers doing the same thing. We need your services since Valorant is too lazy to drop us patch notes or too busy. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
yeah.
But it kind
All
of
right.
it goes back to like the discussion that was going on. I feel like the discussion had even stopped as well, like a few months ago. Um, it would have been like maybe 4 or 5 months ago when it was the whole thing of like people looking at the original Valorant release video when they were saying about precise gunplay and then comparing it to how it is now. But even then, it's kind of after like the Tejo nerfs, it felt like that conversation had pretty much died down almost off of that alone. But clearly at that point, like Riot had said they were going to do something and like they were doing something more long term. And now, yeah, just to, like summarize the changes, like just a lot of utility is hit basically. Like a lot of the recharge ones, like the recharge is way longer. Suppression stuff is not as strong. Like if you're blinded and or you can see further still through certain suppressions and things. And then
And a lot of ults had like their radius and diameters
yeah,
completely screwed. Like breach ult is no longer as effective. Which I mean, that was the whole point. It's a bloody 9 point ult. You want to make sure it's like a win condition. But yeah, you're even gonna nerf that. What's the point, bro?
yeah. So like yeah, basically like almost all util is nerfed across the board for like most agents, and then the 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 recoil patterns are like a bit more locked in. So wasn't it right? I was just checking it now. Like a
Yeah,
couple
like
more
more
bullets,
consistent
basically. Like
recoil, quote unquote.
yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the whole shift of it is try and make things a bit less util dependent and have more onus on like actual gunfights and like gun mechanics, which is what
My first thought
people
after
are asked
reading this
for.
patch was, hmm?
Like that when that discussion was happening a few months ago, that's what people seemed to want at the time. But people
I
seem
mean, we
to be
pretty
not so
much
sure
got it
now.
after Tejo was nerfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, at this point, you might as well, like, I'm gonna say it like it is. You might as well just go play Counter Strike if you're gonna nerf everything at that point. Yeah, more consistent spray patterns. What does it sound like? Counter Strike. No ability is gonna be nerfed into the ground. What does it sound like? Counter Strike. You're gonna have fixed countdowns, and you can only use like util in one way. What does it sound like? Counter Strike. Like, if it looks like a horse and talks like a horse, what is it? I mean,
Well,
yeah. So
well,
that annoys me.
I was
But
doing
I think one
a.
more thing that really
Well, just quickly, we had a hot takes back when that discussion was happening of those, those complaints, and it was with Sophie and Dan, who are like, well, Sophie's our editor, but like mainly focused on Dota. Dan does CS, and Sophie does a bit of CS as well. And I was coming in as the Valorant representative on that episode, and I was kind of explaining that discussion, and my take was like, it seems like the Valorant fans are kind of just asking for CS right now, and like kind of just want a bit of CS, and now they've got it, and they don't really want it anymore.
I mean, we wanted a bit, not, like a carbon copy or whatever it seems to be becoming. I think I'm also really, I don't know. I feel like I'm really unhappy with the timing as well because this is gonna hit right before like the Game Changers Championship. It's not gonna affect Ascension. It's not gonna affect any of the tournaments that are happening over the next few weeks. And I think it's just a really terrible pass to drop right before one of the second biggest tournaments of the year if you're looking at it financially. And I think it's just really unfair for teams that have practiced the whole year on a patch. Like you wouldn't drop this before the main champions, you wouldn't drop this before Ascension. So I think that's a really bad timing to drop a patch like this. And my second thought is already, we have in ranked are Reyna and Jet Instalockers. What do you think is going to happen after this patch? I'll tell you the average team. It's going to be Reyna. It's going to be Jet. There's going to be a KO because you need that suppression. It's going to be the new guy Veto because, you need, again, suppression and somebody who just has like nice abilities that do the job of a Sentinel without really being as oppressed as the other ones. And it's going to be Clove because no other smoker is actually going to find value. You just want to take raw gunfights. You're going to pick the Aegis that help you in those gunfights. And it's going to be a terrible time to play ranked for all of us flexible players.
Yeah, I think it was on Valcomp saying like Viper's done and dusted as well, which is always like a mainstay at the moment. But yeah, I mean, this is what they asked for, kind of. It's just funny that like
I think it's what they asked for.
It's just funny that the whole debate had like completely gone and everyone seemed fine after the Tejo stuff, and then it's like, no, we're still. Remember, guys, we said we were going to do this, and everyone's like, fuck, what now? But we'll see. We'll see at Game Changers.
I don't know. I mean, I really don't feel like seeing a Game Changers. I really hope that they let this not affect that particular tournament because again, it makes no sense for you to play like the whole competitive year on a separate patch and then just come into it completely new. I mean, I guess in a way it might be fun to see which team adapts the best, but it would also be kind of sad in a way because teams have been preparing for like the whole year. You kind of want to see them at their best rather than throw a last minute obstacle.
Well, it seemed,
especially with the discrepancy in times because specific ended so early. NA ended so early, like they ended this weekend, and then you have like China ending like basically in the middle of November. You've got like EMEA ending basically end of this month. There's so much disparity, right? So the teams that have more time to practice are going to do better. It doesn't make sense logically, from a tournament integrity standpoint.
Yeah, it seemed like, I mean, both problems are sort of what happened at Toronto, but like multiplied by 5, where you had also the discrepancy in time in finishing, but the discrepancy there was like 2 weeks max, not like a whole month and a half, basically. And then it was like Tejo nerf, and it was like, oh, the teams that rely on Tejo look a bit fucked.
RIPG too.
Yeah, exactly. But that's still, I mean, by this standard, that looks a small change. Like even then, it's like that
Potatoes,
could completely,
yeah.
that even then was a change that could fuck a whole team's system. But now it's like you're literally changing what makes somebody good at Valorant, like completely switching half of what's necessary. So yeah, to do that before like. Yeah, I feel like it's impossible to have game changers on this patch. Like, it's just...
I mean, it's possible. I just don't think it's a good idea.
It's impossible in terms of what makes sense to do. Like, it is totally fucked if it's on there. So for that, we will see, I suppose. Who is there anyone... Who do you think benefits off this? Like, any players, any teams in their current form?
I think teams that play Chamber will probably be a little bit happy because he's actually gonna have a bit more fun. I think that any team that does rely on like a double initiator comp or something, they're probably like very util heavy kind of plays will probably be a little bit more affected. So I think teams like Fnatic are actually going to be the ones who might feel it a bit badly. I think that although, I mean, in the final you did have people shooting fantastically, don't get me wrong, but I think that they also have a couple of set plays, and I think teams that rely a lot on those are probably going to be the ones who struggle the most, for lack of a better phrase. So yeah, honestly, I think everybody's gonna be screwed pretty equally by it because at the highest tier, a lot of these comps are very util heavy. It's the most dependable way to play. But I think that on the bright side, teams that already play, these. That's the thing. You can't even say teams that play hyper aggressive comps are gonna be fine because everybody's getting nerfly. Like nobody's safe. Like you're a controller, you're screwed. You're a you're a duelist player, you're screwed. Like what are you gonna do? I guess maybe we'll see Jet make a bit of a comeback. Screw Yoru or Neon. Both of them are kind of, in the trash can. I noticed way they didn't get affected though, so I'm excited about that. Maybe my girl will see some more play.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a good transition then that you mentioned Fnatic a few sentences ago. It would have been a better transition if I did it then. But let's cover the final bit quickly, which was just, I mean, it was crazy. That third map, like, might be the most insane, like, competitive event I've seen with my own eyes. Like, I've been to league things. I've been to like a million football matches. I don't think I've ever seen just something of like literally as insane as that. I mean, the fact that it was like the all-time biggest single map comeback, a 10-round comeback. It's only possible a 12-map comeback. That's like, I don't know. It was just insane, and the energy in the arena as the rounds are going on, you can imagine was like getting ridiculous. And
I could hear it. Like
props to NRG for winning the 5th map. Like I can barely remember. Like in League, it's obviously there's way more best of 5s, so it's way more common to get a best of 5 reverse sweep. I remember seeing someone posting the stats about it on League like a few years ago. I don't remember the exact numbers, but like for a team to go from 2-0 up and then have the other team come back to 2-2, the team that started 2-0 almost never wins that 5th map because at that point your mental's gone. Thrown a 2-0 lead, especially for NRG to do it 2-0 up, 11-1, and end up losing the map and going 2-2. To come back and win the 3rd map and win it dominantly as well is like insane mental. Like that's stronger mental than Fnatic getting it back to 2-2. I feel. Did you see the? I think you saw the clip, right? We were talking about it the other day of the comms right before they started that 5th map.
Yes,
Bonkars
I
shouting
remember
and that.
that.
Like, I mean, he has to get so much praise for this. And to be fair, like every player was praising him afterwards as well. What's your thoughts on the whole final?
On the whole final,
Or just
well,
any bits?
first of all, sorry.
Just like any bits on the final.
I've got a lot. Let's see. Firstly, it's kind of incredible that like you brought it up that a team that gets 2 maps up, and if the other team manages to make a comeback, it's so hard to come back from it. But funnily enough, Fnatic was the first team to kind of have that reputation. In lock-in, they managed to get to 2-0 in the final, and then they threw 2 maps to Loud. And to be fair, Loud played well. I shouldn't say that they threw, but they did. There were a few throw rounds, and then map 1 they're down 3-11, and they still made the comeback. So I guess I wasn't super surprised by them coming back. I was kind of shocked at 1-11. I thought it was so Joe over for these guys. Like, 3-0 final, what a lame final, whatever. And then they started making that comeback. And funnily enough, this tournament, it's like comeback record after record because funnily enough, NRG were down 2-10 against EDG in their opening game, and they made the comeback to win in overtime. So it's kind of fitting that Fnatic were able to do the same thing to them. They were under that pressure that they put on their opponents, and they managed to come through. I think we saw the comms in the final map, like you said. And overall, I think that Bonkar just has been such a great leader for this team, individually mentoring them in a lot of ways, like they pointed out in the press conference. But also, I think at the beginning of the year when he joined NRG, he had a vision with basically these players. I think he pretty much said something around those lines when he talked to us. But I think that also him being able to come back to the same team after they were basically just completely bodied in stage 1 and start to have that build up around stage 2, make like a better team with the players that he initially wanted, work with the new IGL, Ethan stepping into that IGL role as well. Like I think Ethan himself said it, like he's so underrated when it comes to who's the greatest player of all time. But I think after this tournament, he definitely gets that reputation, especially, you know, in that final map, having your IGL, your team captain kind of step up and be that guiding force for your team. There were so many rounds where he was just playing like it was Counter-Strike, you know, holding off angles, just waiting. Like he was playing Breach. He was great with the util, but a lot of the rounds he didn't even need it. He was just like so confident. And so like he had the reads correct. And it was just such a great final map to watch coming out of NRG. Like even though Fnatic made the comeback, they were like, yeah, you know what, this we just reset. We're gonna go to map 5. We're gonna win it all. And it was very nice to watch coming out of them. Very, very heartbreaking for Fnatic. I'm really pissed at them for changing their comp up because I think that if you practice for your whole competitive tournament with a breach and then you replace that with a neon because of whatever reason and you expect your side executes to work the same, that's why your attacking half is so bad, bro. From an analyst point of view, it kind of sucked to watch, but it was still nice. I mean, I enjoyed the first round. It was nice to watch Alpha flex a little bit on the neon. It just
Yep.
wasn't probably a good idea heading into a grand final
Yeah.
against a team that has all your prep.
Yeah, not the best idea that they just played you 5 minutes ago as well. It's funny with Ethan that you say about like the GOAT debates because literally he was not in it at all until yeah, you're the first player to win 2 champs, and it in a GOAT debate, like, obviously part of it is trophies and like legacy and that sort of thing. So it makes sense that he's right up. Basically, he's put himself in the top 3 with Kron and Aspas. Pretty much, it feels like.
I think one thing that he said that was really interesting was people kind of discounted him after that EG run because it felt like such a like a lot of people would call it a fluke in a way because yeah, they had a young talent join and everybody just sing together and it was very magical and the tournament veto worked out for them a lot of ways like that. And on arguably like EG's playstyle at that time, the way Potter was guiding them meshed up best against Paper X's playstyle because they were way less volatile and way more like chill compared to how Paper likes like to play back in 2023. So it was a really good matchup for them in that grand final. But I also do think that, like Ethan said, the biggest similarity between both of these runs that he's had with both EG as well as with NRG right now is the fact that all of his teammates kind of felt like family. Everybody was super supportive of each other. They really believed in each other, and I think having somebody like that, he said, you know, back in EG he wasn't IGLing, so he didn't really feel that pressure. But with NRG as the team's captain, as the team's IGL, as that person who's already done it once before, he had like more of that burden to carry, or not even burden. It was more like he felt that responsibility towards his team, and yeah, he just wanted to do right by them. And I'd say he's done pretty damn right by them. I think a championship trophy is nice to have, especially, you know, if you're 3 rookies coming into the tournament. It's kind of okay. I don't really like calling them rookies because they've been playing in NA Tier 2 for like 2 years now, at least 2 or 3 years. But yeah, first international tournament, you win the championship. I think it's a great way to start your career in VCT.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? There are worse ways. And yeah, that like the Bonkar thing to be dropped at stage 1, and then they're like, could you come back, please? Maybe reckon you could help us in stage 2? And he's, yeah, go on then. I'll go and just win champs for you. Like, that is so sick. Question then: do they nerf the Odin or not?
See, I'm in 2 minds about it because whenever people pull it up in overtime and ranked, I get so pissed off just hearing the sound of 5 Odins. But I honestly don't think it's that easy a gun to use. I think that Brock is right because I was VOD reviewing some of the games from Champs, right? And I think that if you look at the Odin and the kind of angles he holds, he has to basically learn like a whole new playstyle because you don't play it like a conventional gun. You don't hold open angles. You don't hold like pixel angles. You kind of have like this space where you're on the edge of the wall, so you're kind of hidden by it and you got like a shield in front of yourself. But you know, you're also able to, off the back of like your Sova util or, you know, your teammates pointing out the guys or getting those trades, you're just able to keep that pressure up. And I think that with your teammate, you need like support from your teammates as well. I don't think it's really as much of a solo gun. I know Brock looked like he was making it look like a solo gun with those stats sometimes, but I think that his teammates definitely gave him a lot of help there. And I think, yeah, you need to practice to use it. I don't think it's that easy to use it. I think that when more people start picking it up, yeah, you should definitely nerf it. But honestly, the only way you can really probably nerf an Odin is by reducing the max size. Like, yeah, 100 bullets is a bit much. Take 50 instead. Because I think the moment you touch the fire rate or the damage, it's gonna suck. Because it already sucks compared to a Phantom. That shot doesn't kill. So, well, Phantom doesn't kill either sometimes, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I completely agree, to be honest. I was thinking the same thing, of the fact that, like, yeah, if everyone was suddenly using the Odin like Rortcan, then fair enough, that would make sense to have a look at it. But the fact that it's like literally one player in the world that does this, I get it, like, obviously it's pro players a separate thing from ranked and they have to think about the wider game. But the fact of people saying it like off of what happened at Champs is like a bit ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, like literally this article that you're showing, like if you scroll up, it shows the Odin kills throughout like the entire tournament. And you look at the statistics, right? You have Brock at like several hundred kills and everybody else has like less than a fifth or less than a third. And you're just like, look, it's one guy who's put in the time, who's put in the effort to master it.
Exactly.
Okay? If everybody else could do it, they would have done it by now because it's been around for what, 3 years. I think the Odin's one of the few guns that hasn't been really touched by the devs as such. Everything else has gotten a nerf or a buff at some point, but the Odin's just been chilling.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprising that it took 5 years for someone to use it like this, to be honest.
It was in the I can't remember who asked the question about it in the press conference after they won. Someone said like, well, it wasn't even a question. It was like, say something nice about the person on your right, and I think Scuba next to him on his right was Brock, and he was talking about how he practices to use Odin and like get the use out of it that he does,
Yeah.
and literally what he explained is like, there's no way anyone else is doing this, and it's clear that nobody else gets the same success out of it. He was saying like he'll sit and watch hours of VODs of his teammates, like watch of his opponents, sorry, like study the defaults and whatnot, and then we'll jump in a custom game and like try and just like trial and error, just try and find angles that he thinks will work against like
Yeah.
depending on what the opponent's doing. Like that's not something that makes the gun OP. That just makes like Brock's hard work,
Scoop.
and that's what's OP.
Yeah, it's Brock is OP. Yeah, like hello, dude. Hate the game, not the player. Well, I guess in this case, you should definitely hate the player more than the gun itself. That's our takeaway from this. But yeah, I think overall, Brock. Like I know a lot of people were crying in Twitch, like, oh no, the Odin is winning champs. What am I gonna do about it? My life is so sad. It's like Iron Kids winning champs, and I'm like, yeah, bro. If you could, you would. You're stuck in like silver or something.
Yeah.
Shut up, please. Like,
Also, another thing,
yeah, it's. I don't think.
I was going to say another thing that actually
Go
was
ahead.
like kind of winding me up about it. People going, "Oh, but it's like the Odin's boring to watch." I'm like, the way Brock was using it, it was not.
I don't
I
think it
don't think
was
it was
boring.
boring
I
at
think they
all.
were just butthurt.
Yeah, if listen, if everyone was doing it, and every round started with like both teams getting half health through 2 walls, then fair enough. Okay, the game's getting a bit ridiculous if everyone's doing it. When one person does it, and it is unique and it's different, it was exciting. Like, you see, when you see his POV and you see someone's going to walk where he's aiming and he goes for it where he just misses but he knows what he's doing. He's in the right place. Like that was exciting to watch. Again, if like everyone was sitting behind walls shooting through walls the whole time, obviously it would be a bit crap. But when one person's doing it, like that's
100
fine.
percent. Yeah, I think one more thing. I think you also talked to Bonker about it. I think I read it in your interview, and he mentioned like, yeah, Brock Soden is annoying, but it's not our fault if nobody else figures out how to like counter it. It's not our responsibility, you know. It's the people playing against it. And I mean, if it is so overpowered that nobody's able to counter it, I'm sure eventually you'll see a nerf. But honestly, a lot of the time, they were just very common angles. They were just very common spaces. Like, yes, Koro A main has Koro A main has paper thin walls. Both of these angles suck. There's a Viper wall there. You're gonna pass through it. You're gonna get debuffed. He knows the timings. He just spams down. He gets 3 kills. You can't really hate him for it. Just don't be so obvious, I
Yeah,
guess.
like I think what Bonkar said was like every other team can pick the gun, which is the obvious response, isn't it? And even like
Just do it yourself.
yeah, like they asked because the reason I'd asked him was that they'd asked Milan on broadcast like, what do you do what's your game plan against the Odin? And he's like, well, whoever figures that out wins champs. Obviously, no one figured it out. No one else won champs, so he was right about that. But yeah, the point is like someone else. I mean, you've just got to try and do it, or you've got to have like a different game plan against NRG. Then I suppose then that's because of one player. Like it's not the fucking gun's fault. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
Yeah, I think Brock deserves a lot of credit. Anybody who
yeah.
just says he's an Odin spammer is clearly someone who hasn't watched enough of the game. That said, I agree that it is annoying to play against Odins. I deal with it all the time in ranked. I occasionally pick it up myself. Like I've become what I hate, I suppose, at this point. But hey, it's really fun. You know, you throw like a clove debuff or a Viper Molly, and you just sit with the Odin and you hold an angle and you press mouse one down and you get 3 kills. It's really fun sometimes. I can highly recommend it in overtime when you know somebody's gonna be opping. It's really mean.
I've always been the kind of player in like any game that I'll just use whatever's good and not really care about it, except for
Yeah, you play
when
to
I.
win.
But weirdly, I had like one exception when I was younger. I used to play a lot of FIFA, and I used to like be adamant that I played the way that I like to play, and people use the OP teams of Real Madrid, PSG with all the good players. No, I'm playing with my team, Tottenham Hotspur. They're not as good as the other ones, but it's fine. That's what I want to do. That's just too much loyalty in my family for one team. I think that ruined my FIFA career. But every other game, yeah, fuck it, just play whatever's strong.
What's the equivalent of that in Valorant terms for people like me who are very
Oh god.
unknowledgeable about football?
Probably just having like an agent that isn't very good or no one else would use, but it's just the one that you've been bred to like since you were 5 years old, and all your family likes it, and you go out with your family to watch that agent in the pub. It's getting a bit ridiculous now, but yeah, that's the idea.
So basically Sky, got it.
Yeah.
And it used to be good at some point, but now nobody really like it's not really winning
Hang on.
anything. But you know, you still.
What are you saying about my team? We just won the Europa League a few months ago. Thank you
I'm
very
talking
much.
about Sky. I'm talking about
Yeah,
Sky.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
anything about your team. Don't
Yeah,
worry. You asked me about Valorant stats and agent pick stats. I'll give you that. But you asked me anything about football, and I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, I know Ronaldo and Messi, and yeah, maybe one or two more guys. That's about it. I'm terrible. You shouldn't ask me this shit.
That's fine. There was another new revelation as well. Then going back to game changes, which was the new agent Veto, announced on the final day of champs as well. Yeah, what were your thoughts? I'm hearing that it's mega broken.
Well, I don't know about mega broken. I think he can be really, really annoying. I think his abilities are gonna be overtuned, especially with the current patch hitting. See, before the current patch hitting, I would have been like, yeah, this guy's actually nice to have in game because he shuts down a lot of really annoying characters. And he kind of completely negates post plant. Like, I mean, I am a post plant player. I love win conditions, but also having like a team just waiting, oh yeah, it's my time to it's my time to shoot the Viper Molly. Brim, you go next. Oh yeah, you use your ult breach. Let's go together. Yeah, you just waste 40 seconds. It's kind of annoying. So I think having somebody like this, you just put your interceptor up, whatever Molly comes, it just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh shoots out of it and you get the spike diffuse. I really, really like that concept. I think that he can be a very fun agent to play, but he has a high skill ceiling. Like, he can be really good, but you have to be kind of smart about how you play him. You can't just run down like an idiot. Like, even his ultimate, it's so good because it lasts for a whole round until you die. And if you play carefully, you can kind of be like the tip of a retake for your team, or you can kind of tank all that annoying utility, but you need to make sure that your teammates are there to tank the damage, because the moment you get shot, you die. So I think there's going to be a lot of planning that you need to have around it. You can't just like be like, oh yeah, I'm going to pick this guy and he's broken, so let me use it. He's not Tejo, guys. You need a little bit more finesse.
Cool. What does this stuff do? I hadn't actually read it yet, apart from the very
Okay, so
quick.
basically, I'll give you a very quick TLDR. So chokehold is like a Fate Seize, except that it's like a trap. You don't throw it; people have to trigger it. You can break it, unlike a Fate Seize. But yeah, it basically DKs you. It kind of like traps you in a corner. It's like the basic. It's a Seize, but it's blue. Okay, that's about it. The second thing is crosscut. This is the most annoying thing. It's like Chamber or Yoru, but on steroids, because again, there's no timer on these TPs. You get 2 of them. So let's say that you're playing on Ascent. So you put one of those TPs on top of the box in A main, and you put the other one like on short somewhere near stairs. So you take an open angle, you take a fight, you kill a guy from vines, you TP to the corner, you're up in that elevated angle, you kill another guy, and then you TP again to short. The range on these things is also kind of annoying. It's like OG Chamber. So very, very broken ability. I think this is one of the first ones that you probably want to nerf. And the third one is the default ability, the one that you get for free. It's basically like a trap. You can put it in the air as well, which I think is what makes it really good. So you can kind of throw it and you can activate it, and for 10 seconds it'll break whatever projectile utility comes your way. So flashes, it breaks geckos, thingies, like Wingman and Thrash, it breaks all of those thingies, and it basically negates any projectile utility. So it's not going to affect like a breach stun or something, but anything else that you're throwing at somebody, which is basically almost every single flash in the game, every single molly in the game, it's going to destroy for that 10-second gap. So I think, again, you can't just press it and expect it to auto-activate. You have to timing it. So, but it shuts down retakes. It shuts down like setups that people might have. Like if your team is running in, you activate it at the door corner, and yeah, any flashes that people throw at you aren't going to hit you. So you have like a relatively free pipeline into the site, stuff like that. So I think that could be very useful. I think that's probably the most interesting thing of his kit for me. His ult is really good. It looks really badass. I'm not gonna lie. If you're taking a breach ult and a brim ult and a sky ult and you're just standing there looking cool, I agree. It's nice, but again, this with the abilities getting nerfed and the guns getting buffed, people are just gonna shoot you, bro. It doesn't. you do have like a bit of a health regen, which I think is really good. It kind of makes him a bit more sustainable. But overall, yeah, I think this is a really good ability, but only if you use it in conjunction with the rest of your team.
Yeah.
In like a isolated context, it's good. It makes fights a 50-50 again, instead of like you being flashed into oblivion and be seeing like 3 colors of the rainbow before dying. I do think it's an advantage if you have this guy, but aside from that,
Yeah. What was, because I saw like one of the teasers was showing him like destroying a sage wall. That wouldn't be.
Oh, yeah, his interceptor does that. So
Oh right.
you put the wall down and it shoots it down brick by brick, like poof,
Ah.
poof, poof, poof. It's wild. I don't know how a sage wall counts as a projectile,
That's
but
what I
I
was
guess you're
thinking. Yeah.
technically pushing it forward. It's weird, but eh. So it doesn't. I'll tell you which things aren't affected, because I was actually testing this out in range. So so on his ultimate, you can still kill him with your neon ult, your jet knives, or your chamber guns, whichever guns you have. And I think abilities, breach is unaffected because his flashes aren't projectiles. Like they just go through walls. So breach is chill, his stuns are chill, and yeah, 1 or 2 more abilities that aren't like projectiles, they're safe. But yeah, mostly everything is just completely negated by him if you use him right. So it's quite interesting.
Has he been live in any like game changers or anything? Anyone played him?
No, he hasn't been in any tournaments, but he's certainly live and
Yeah.
ranked. It's really, really very nice if he's on my team. Really, very annoying when he's not. But it is what it is. I almost unlocked him. I'm too much of a cheapskate to spend money on him. I don't want to spend $10 on him to buy him. But I'm grinding enough XP. I play every day. God save me. I don't know why I do it, but I play this game every day. So I almost have enough XP. So I'll probably play him on vacation or something.
I remember when I was like first learning League, and already they had like 100 champs, and I think they made it easier these days. But like to get all the champions without paying real money was like ridiculous. Like not joking. I think I played the game for like 7 or 8 years until I unlocked every champ. Good. And they made it easier. Now I'm in the kind of in-game currency that you use. Now I'm so much in the positive. I don't even play the game, but I can log on every 6 months when there's a new champ and buy it. And I've probably got enough to last me a few years now.
Yeah,
Anyway.
see, Valorant. The problem is they have it locked with the in-game currency for 2 weeks. So either you spend real money or
Right.
you grind.
Well,
And the
it's like
nice thing is they only
yeah.
added the grind mechanic again. They used to have the grind mechanic and then they stopped it for a year. They were like, either you wait 2 weeks or you spend money. But thankfully they added it
So
back.
ridiculous.
So for people like me who don't want to spend money, it's great. Like I play the game anyway. It works.
I play like 2 Swift Play games maybe every 2 weeks. So like I over the weekend
Oh,
I
you're
play.
a Swift Play player.
I just play a bit on console. Like I'm not hardcore at all. So I like jump on console
You know the
when
meme
I've got.
about Swift Play, right?
No, what's that? Should I be
People
embarrassed?
people are basically like almost everyone who plays Swift Play are like eat-aters. That's like the troll,
Oh
like
really?
yeah, there was like a meme during champs. It was like how does I think I forgot who was saying it. I don't know if it was Onepixel or somebody. Yeah, I think it was Onepixel. He was like, how does every single player at this tournament have a hot girlfriend? And somebody in the chat was like, oh, they played Swift Play before they played ranked or the tournament. And I was just like, bro.
I'm just like I just know I'm so incredibly shit that I feel bad if I go in like a full match and just like ruin someone's 30 minutes. I'd rather ruin their like 10 minutes and feel a bit less bad
Fair
about it.
enough.
So yeah, I jumped on and played a couple of Swift Play, and it was like, oh, you've got 3,000 XP out of the 200,000 that you need to unlock Veto, and I thought, I'm probably not going to unlock this agent then, am I?
You can just wait 2 weeks, then you can use the in-game currency. It's already been like a week, so you'll be fine.
Fair enough. Okie dokie. What else been going on? You've been busy this week on Game Changers.
Oh yes,
how's that been?
yes, I have. It's been really fun. I got to do some analyst desk work. I was like, "Yo, you guys gotta let me cast with the homies," but they were like, "No, we want you on analyst desk for consistency reasons." I was like, "Yeah, sure, fine. 7 days of AD work sounds fun." I got to work with all the people I fangirl about regularly, like Mika and Victoria and Tash. So I was very happy about that. And also, I got to basically, I got paid to look at my favorite teams play and then talk about that. So it was a great week for me overall. Very busy, but great week.
Yeah, imagine. What's the latest then? Where are we at on Game Changers right now? I know we're like a month and a bit before camps, but there's like plenty of stuff still, right?
All right, so we'll ask our viewers to buckle up here while I basically dump my brain on you. So yeah, Game Changers happening in Seoul, Korea. It's happening at the end of November between the 20th and the 30th. It's happening in Lowell Park. So I'm not a League of Legends player, but I know that Lowell Park is pretty big for League of Legends fans. So it's probably yeah, it's gonna be pretty hype, I presume.
They got
And
like a
yeah,
PC.
so 10
They got a
teams this
PC
year.
cafe, so you can play a couple of ranked in there.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go this year. A couple of the teams have already promised to take me karaoke, so I got to make it there for the culture. The culture being us singing Golden at a karaoke bar at midnight. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll figure it out. But yeah, 10 teams this year. A little bit of a thankful increase. I still think that's not enough. Like, let's get 16. Champions get 16. Why doesn't GC get 16? But I digress. 10 teams this year, and we already have about a few of those confirmed. I think that the first team to get kind of confirmed was Brazil and LATAM. I think that Brazil, Team Liquid beat MIBR, and that was a pretty fire game. I think that there were multiple records at that game. I think MIBR seems to suffer the same fate in both their main team and the GC team because they had a player who did their best, who broke records, and they still lost. So yeah, the grand final, I think one of their players dropped 50 kills on a map, and they also
Oh yeah,
dropped
so
like
was that the one that was like
125 kills across.
it was like 20 plus rounds each or something? Was that one?
Yeah, the final score was like 23-21, and the player with
That's
50 kills on the team was part of the team that lost. So basically, Aspa's cosplay. I think that whole game was fantastic in terms of records, but very depressing if you're an MIBR fan. But it's not over for them yet. They get the LCQ run if they're lucky. But yeah, I think that Team Liquid is the first team to qualify. I think that Pacific is also over. Since I was there for it, I actually saw most of it. And we have one SEA team qualifying as the first seed, Zipto Esports. This is not to be confused with last year's Zipto Esports, which had a different core. This year was actually last year's third place team. So they've really leveled up. They won the whole tournament without, like, I think they only dropped one map. They didn't drop a single series, kind of like NRG. They just didn't go to the lower bracket. They were like running through. And the second team to qualify as second seed was a Korean team. So this is actually the first Korean team in Game Changers Asia history to qualify as a whole. I think they have been Korean players before on Japanese teams, but this is the first full Korean roster, and I'm very happy for them. They look very happy to be playing at their home ground in Seoul there. And their star duelist is a 16-year-old, so like very insane player. She was just crying after the event. It was so wholesome. Her teammates were like hugging her. Like she was so relieved. She was like, "Oh my god, I made it. I didn't lose." Because the team they were playing was also like the team that was undefeated the whole year, so it was wild.
We're about to have pro gamers half my age. That's gonna feel rough.
Dude, I already have like, I don't know, when I was playing Fortnite, I was having like these 12-year-old kids just absolutely bodying me, and I was like I was like 21 or 22 at that point, and I was like, why am I alive? Why do I play this game? Why do I do this to myself? This is just like self-torture at that point. But yeah, jokes apart, yeah, they qualified as well. I think from NA ended yesterday, usual suspect Shopify Rebellion qualified 3-0 in the grand final, so they're still looking very strong. They lost Florissant last year to EMEA, but they picked up Dodo, who has been a mainstay of the NAGC scene, and she's been doing pretty well with the team, I would say. I think that another team that has to be applauded for consistency is Crew. They are the only team that has been there year after year coming out of the LATAM region. And this year they once again qualified as the first seed this time. For NA, the fourth slot will be decided based off of an LCQ. So every single second seed team from LATAM, Brazil, and North America will kind of fight it out in a Swiss stage. And the top, ranking team will basically get to go to Korea to join the rest of the teams. And of course, EMEA gets 3 teams. KC has qualified. G2 has also basically qualified because they've qualified for the playoffs. It depends. If some other team apart from KC or G2 wins, there could be a little bit of an upset about the second team. So G2 is not 100% qualified. Let's say they're like 99% qualified. There's like a very mild off chance, I think, that they could not, but very unlikely. We'll likely see them again, but they have had a much rougher year compared to previous years, I would say. But yeah, they're still looking decent. And I think the third team from EMEA is kind of a toss up. There's a couple of strong rosters. I personally really like SK Nebula. They're playing today as well. There's no GC official stream for the Swiss stage, but I think in another week they'll be on Valorant EMEA, so people can tune in and enjoy it properly.
Job. I was reading through this earlier, and I was going to say this is just general advice to whoever's watching. If you're trying to get tickets to go to something at Lowell Park, I guess that I'm guessing this one for people outside Korea hopefully will do the job, because I went to Lowell Park 6 years ago. Me and my now fiance went on a trip to Korea, and we wanted to go to an LCK game, watch League. And oh my god, it was so incredibly hard to buy tickets from like Europe. And I'm guessing it's just because it was this Interpark website we had to use. And I'm guessing it's because like the
Oh
servers
god, yeah.
are there in Korea, so when you're not there and you're on the other side of the world, it
It's
loads.
a bit laggy.
Yeah, so we were staying for like 10 days, and in those 10 days there were like maybe 4 different game days happening, and then the tickets for
Hmm.
each day would go on sale like exactly 3 weeks before at like 5 a.m. my time. I had an alarm set, and the first day that I was trying to buy was for T1, which is obviously like the most popular team by miles. So I had an alarm set. I was there ready, refreshed, dead on the minute, clicked to go onto tickets, loaded for like not even very long, 20 seconds, no tickets left. And then the next day, the day after, same thing again, loaded for 20 seconds, no tickets left. Because you could either get a ticket of like a full day ticket where there was 2 best of 3s, or you could buy one individually. And both the first 2 times I tried to buy a full day ticket, and literally before it could even load, I could get fuck all. And then the third time, I tried just going for like one of the matches, and thank God I got one. But it's ridiculous. If you're outside of Korea, it's like really hard to buy tickets from that website. But I just noticed anyway that it has one for outside of Korea, so hopefully that's fine, and you don't just get fucked by everyone in Korea buying them in like 5 seconds. But that's my story. And I was very lucky. We saw for the league
At
heads.
least you got a game, yeah.
Yeah, and we saw Air Green Wings, who were on like a record run of losing streak. I think the streak ended up being like 19 losses in a row or something. We saw one of those games,
Oh
and
jeez.
they lost to Griffin.
Legend. You saw history.
Yeah, and the team that they lost to was Griffin, who was a team that like that year had come up from tier 2 with all rookies, and like somehow they were like suddenly the best team in the league. That team
Sounds familiar.
That team disbanded in the end because like it was a shit org run really bad. But almost every player is like top 3 to 5 in their role now on all these different teams. One of them being the mid laner Chovy, who's been like the best league player in the world for the last few years.
Hey, I kind of know the guy.
He's
Isn't he on T1 or something?
He's on Gen G, but he's been the best league player in the world for years now, and like his level right now is probably the best anyone has ever played League.
Okay, this is a very stupid question, but has he ever been on T1 at some point? Because I don't know why my mind just says
No,
T1
he hasn't.
Chovy.
But
I don't
like
know why.
they're the biggest, like they're
It's
the
a
main
meme?
rivals with T1, and it's him versus Faker, Gen G versus T1. Like they go hand in hand, to be fair. But that team
Fair
was
enough.
crazy. Like half of that team that was like a tier 2 team that had just got promoted when we saw him is at Worlds this month. So we were very lucky to get that one game, and we were lucky to get any tickets at all, really. So good luck, everyone that is going to be trying to buy tickets for that. Is all I'm trying to say.
Oh god. Well, I will struggle myself, but I think this time they made some accommodations because I think that was a complaint at Masters Bangkok as well because they had like a tie up with a local website called Ticket Melon, and it was really painful to buy tickets for the Swiss
Right.
stage. Like they didn't manage to figure out the unlock on the website until like right before the tournament. So as somebody who was there and who had to buy tickets for somebody else, like I was there as press, but I think my ex at that time was coming along. So bro, we needed to buy bro some tickets, and it was not fun dealing with the website. There was a lot of crashes, and it was very hard to select seats, but we figured it out in the end. So
Yeah.
all's well that ends well, I suppose. That said,
Yeah.
but yeah, good luck. I think that it's gonna be. I think having a actual good venue is pretty good this time for Game Changers. I'm not sure about the exact seating capacity for Little Park, but for the last 2 years,
200, I
it's
think.
been in a little box with 200 people. Yeah, like even the players' families couldn't really get in. A lot of them were complaining last year, like, I just wanted to watch my daughter play. Let me in, like for the final and stuff. So it was kind of depressing.
It's definitely bigger than the Berlin studio, but not by miles. It's maybe like the Berlin studio is meant to be like 200, and Lowell Park's maybe like 350 or something like that. I'm looking now actually, and it
It's
looks
still
like
an improvement.
there are tickets. So I've gone through the global thing. I did get scared first because you go on the global one and it's still via Interpark, which is the same like provider, but it does look like there are tickets. You have to sign in, but it lets me click on the final and click buy tickets.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's stuff and it works out. What was
One
on
can
our
hope.
list next? Okay, next maybe we just talk about roster stuff, and it's all. I mean, obviously it's off season's just started.
Roster
Tier 1,
stuff.
so everything's a bit all over the place, and there's rumors flying left and right. Some of the bigger ones, though, I guess we could start with maybe Zekken is apparently. So actually,
I don't believe that because that's
well,
not official. It's just like all these rumor mongers, like, yeah, Zeken's gonna
so
leave. Fuck
the
Zekken.
the rumor was second is exploring options. I just thought I would double check the contract database, and he, along with like 90% of players anyway, his contract is up this year anyway. So, and basically anyone whose contract ends in 2025 and hasn't already re-signed, they technically are all going to be exploring their options. Like that's just a natural thing you do
Yeah,
anyway.
but exactly. Yeah,
At the
I
very
think
least, if you want to
it's a
stay,
bit too
you
soon.
speak to one or two other teams to figure out like what money you might get elsewhere, and then you can go back and you use that to help negotiate where you are. It would be very silly to, if your contract is ending, to not at least just kind of have feelers with other teams to at least know what those kind of offers are like. Just like negotiation 101 really. So the fact that like that came out it's not. I don't feel like that's really much of a revelation. Like say on
Yeah, I
Sentinels
think
alone, also
there are
John Coty and
people.
Celsius are running out right now as well.
I don't think they'll reset the whole team. I think maybe a couple of players, but yeah, I don't think Sun is really gonna be making things official. So I wouldn't like count on it because there is a lot of liking for this current roster and their individual players. So I mean, even they have won stuff with this roster basically before. Like the only difference is tens versus not having tens. Which I think the raid has been filling his shoes quite well. Like different roles, different agents and stuff, but. I think in terms of frags, a little bit inconsistent compared to tens, maybe, but overall still really consistent, especially compared to some of his other teammates. So I wouldn't really have too much of a. I wouldn't be surprised to see them replace Bleak people, but I don't think that's like their focus. I think they're more
Yeah.
just kind of seeing what everybody else is building, what people are cooking. And there have been teams that have had like official announcements, like basically like, yeah, this guy's looking for options. He's probably not going to be with us next year, but we don't want to say it like right after champs because it'll be kind of rude. So they're like, yeah, exploring options. Yeah, so it's like,
Exactly.
they're at the
Also,
supermarket or something. I think
where would he go if Zahk wanted to somehow would decide to leave? I don't see where he goes, at least in Americas, that's likely to be an upgrade.
100 Thieves. Sorry. I don't know about likely to be an upgrade. I mean, yeah, it's pretty difficult to beat Sen in terms of marketing and team fan base and just money as well. I think Sen probably is going to pay you top
Imagine
top of
so,
the
yeah.
shelf anyway, as it is, especially after you get them a trophy. So
There are like these rumors of John QT and Carmine Corp don't seem to go away, but then I don't know how much of that is just like generated by fans that really want it to happen.
ChatGPT.
So you just keep hearing it. Yeah. So
I mean, I guess for John Cutie, since he's from Morocco, maybe he would want to be a bit closer to home. That's the only reason I can think
yeah.
of him wanting to move regions because I think he's doing pretty well in America. As he's got a lot of respect. He's been there for several years, so he knows the landscape much better. I mean, to be fair, I also feel like EMA has enough Americas and ports anyway at this point. So I would rather like them to keep the ones that they already have because I was reading this one. This one genuinely concerns me because I would really like for Crashies to stay on Fnatic next year because I was reading
yeah.
somewhere that he has a girlfriend and a dog and a house, and I'm like, just move, bro. Why do you want to break apart this Fnatic? You guys made it to 3 grand finals. Just stick together. You'll get a trophy. Why do you want to break up the best relationship ever? Like, I know Boaster and Yinsu are supposed to be cute and stuff, but my headship is Boaster and Crashies. Like those two and their TikToks and everything, like they sustain me, bro. We need that energy in the
Yeah,
world.
I would love for him to stay. I feel like he's gone. Like just the way he would like talk about it, and not to say. I mean, I wouldn't read into this too much. Like when I interviewed him at Champs, I'd had a question along the lines of like the best way to like round off that year, like that relationship with Fnatic, because his contract was running out, and obviously I didn't like ask him, "Are you gonna stay? Are you gonna resign?"
Yeah, I should have just asked him. I would have asked him like, "Are you gonna stay? Can you stay, please?"
And I wouldn't expect him to like, as I was kind of giving that build up to the question, I wouldn't expect him to be like, "Oh no, don't worry, I'm gonna stay." I wouldn't expect him to like give anything either way to that, but he certainly didn't like push back at all, and it didn't. I mean, I just got no interpretation that he didn't think that was going to end after Champs either. And yeah, it was. I mean, it was always meant to be like it was a last minute thing to fill in for Leo still, and he wasn't even expected really to play the whole year, I don't think. So I can get it from his perspective. He probably didn't uproot his whole life and just thought, right, well, yeah, max, I'll be here for a year, and then they'll have Leo back anyway.
And then
it didn't make
you get a
plans to move out
trophy,
there,
and then you end up well.
find the new love of your life. Yeah.
Ugh.
So that's
Don't let the love of your life stop you from finding your boyfriend. That's my takeaway from this year's Fnatic roster. Jokes apart, though, I think he should stay because they just look really good together. And I think,
Oh,
Crashies with Optic was badass, but Crashies with Fnatic is happy. He's smiling. He's making cringe TikToks. We want more of that Crashies. It's nice to see him actually smiling. Even in his game against NRG on map 2 or map 3, he was just like, yeah, choke. I want to see Crashies emoting on stage, bro. It was so funny. It's so unlike him.
yeah.
It's his real personality coming out.
That's the boaster effect. Make everyone else extroverted as well. It makes,
Imagine.
I
I could
do.
use some of that.
I don't remember when it was actually from. I feel like it was maybe from. I don't know. But there was a clip of when, like, one time Bosa's dancing or like twerking or something, and Kayak's next to him, like sinking in his chair like that, like literally.
Yeah,
like
I saw that one.
like it's his.
I
Like
think
it's
it
his
was
dad or
stage
something.
2. Stage 2 EMEA.
Yeah.
That's the trophy that they won, so I think it was around then. Stage 1 EMEA,
Very
sorry.
good. So I mean, this thing with the
Funny.
rosters, and saying about like a lot of players, their contract is up now anyway. Like that makes the whole, especially right now when it's just started and nothing's like agreed or signed or anything yet. Literally, like, everything's up in the air. You even look at NRG, Ethan out of contract, Som out of contract. So that's 2 of them straight
Yeah,
away
I
as
really
well.
hope this roster. I really hope that they stick together because it just feels like history repeating itself. I just think that if you want me to put it very bluntly, I think NRG is less broke than EG. So hopefully they're able to
Yeah,
pay their
or
players and
more.
keep them after they win a trophy. That
Yeah,
would be nice.
absolutely. Some other ones, yeah, and EG, I was seeing Ye and Nature leaving as well. I don't know what their contract was like, but at least that like EG was looking to get rid of them. Actually, both of them are under
Well, I mean,
contract till
Chambers
next
making a
year.
comeback. Ye might be good again.
Yeah, both of them have still got another year, so they'd be like either just, I don't know, tearing up the contract or looking for a buyout, but I don't know how likely that is.
So I can give you like I have like a list of players who are like leaving, like
Sure.
who've made their announcements and stuff. So okay, so so we started with we'll start with NA. Yeah, so I think Cloud9 is letting go of Net. I think that Net is exploring his options. He made an official post. So I think whenever players make an official post, they're kind of like done at that point unless something exceptional happens, from what I've seen anyway. And of course, what else did I think that from MIBR, both Cortesia and Artsin are gone. Like, I mean, Artsin, okay, he was a bit hit or miss in a lot of rounds, but Cortesia was really good. Like, this was his first year in VCT, and he had some exceptional stats and performances. Like, I think that if you want to rebuild a team, you kind of want to keep Cortesia and Aspas and kind of like, out with the old and with the new kind of thing. If you really want to rebuild, I think this roster still had potential with a couple of changes. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Cortesia wants a better team. He wants a team that will do work as a team and not just have him and Aspas doing all the heavy lifting.
Give
So
Aspas
him
a
and
good
Artsin
team,
go.
please. His contract's up now as
Yes,
well. He can go
please.
wherever he likes. Imagine that.
Can we get like PRX Aspas? But I don't want to throw away anybody from the current PRX roster.
Listen,
he needs a team like.
If Sentinels are maybe having doubts about Zekken, Aspas is a free agent.
Send Aspas, yeah, like fuck yeah, let's get Aspas on Sen. I don't mind. It's gonna be so hype. Like, if there was ever like a player that could match the star power of Tents, yeah, it would be him. I just remember that clip of I think it was on Sliggy's stream. I was watching Sliggy's stream, and the MIBR coach was just like, guys, hype! I want to see you guys make as much noise as you can, and you guys just got Aspas in the chair, like leaning back and relaxing. He doesn't even open his eyes. He's just like, please, I'm doing enough. I'm already fucking carrying this game. Please don't make me emotionally participate too. I'm tired. You can kind of see it on his eyes. But yeah, jokes apart, please give this man a good team. I think another Brazil team that was making changes was Robbie BK Loud's IGL saying he's exploring his options. To be fair, Robbie BK on Loud was very weird. It felt like it felt like some kind of alternate dimension shit. Seeing him like in the beginning of year IGLing for Gentle Mates and then going to Loud all the way in the other side of the world to play in Americas was a bit weird. I think they actually won a game with him, so I guess he did improve their prospects a bit. But yeah, I'm still not the best showing, so understandable. Sylvan left T1 again. This is kind of expected. It was a bit of drama around him this year. I don't know the exact context, but whatever. He has a trophy. I think he'll be fine. He'll find a pretty good team for
to
him
be fair, the
move
drama
short.
wasn't like for him. It was like how his teammates were treating
Around
him. So
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's the victim
Around
of the
him,
drama,
yeah.
not the perpetrator.
Yeah, he's a chill guy, so I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, another player from NA. I think Evil Geniuses you brought up like Yay in Nature. Derek is exploring his options, and I mean I like Derek as a person, but I also don't like his statistics. You know, I remember like 2 years ago when he was on 100 Thieves, he was really good, but bro is not being able to put up those numbers anymore. So I don't know. I feel like EJ can do better. Potter has made miracles happen out of teams that people were saying were crap years ago. So you know, maybe she can give Potter some money so she can make a good team, please. Imagine.
We had some. I mean, there was a biggie in EMEA as well. Mini Boo is officially out of Team Heretics.
Oh yeah.
I'm confused because when the rumors first came out before the announcement, it was that they were kicking him. The way they announced it, with like the way it was explained, like where they did a video of like all the players giving him a message, and Boo is in there saying like, "I accept you. Why you want to make this decision?" Like basically implying that it was Mini Boo's decision. That could just be like them being nice to him and doing him a favor as he goes. Like we'll let it look like you chose to leave. Which maybe just like looks nicer. Because the rumors were definitely that
I mean,
he was getting dropped. I'm pretty
booted.
sure.
Yeah, I remember. But I also think Heretics, I mean, especially I've seen Neil talk about these things before, and he's always been pretty honest about it. So
Yeah,
I also think Miniboo has kind of had he's kind of needed these breaks before. I think he took a break last year as well, right
he was
before
studying or something,
stage
right?
two
Wasn't
or
he then, or
stage
had
one. I forgot
exams or
when.
something?
Yeah, yes, exams and also some mental. He needed like a mental break, like a refresher. That's what he said. So he has done that before. It might we don't know why he's taking a break, but honestly, yeah, it's been a bit of a stressful year for Heretics. Like they've been good but not good enough. And I think for Minibu, especially as that team's duelist, who sometimes I just feel like doesn't get enough support. Like I feel like Heretics, they seem to survive a lot off of individual heroics. Like yeah, Benji drops a 30 bomb, Minibu drops a 30 bomb. I think this whole tournament, Rian's was the one putting everybody in his backpack. Like so many rounds, this guy would drop like a 3K or like get like an insane Hunter's Fury like double kill, and his team would still lose. And I could see like the frustration on his face, like, brothers, what are you doing? Please, we're in VCT. Stop playing it like it's ranked. Like that's like his face expression. Like I'm dropping 350 ACS on Fade and Sova. What are you guys doing? Can you please step up? Please.
I'm just looking as well. Everyone else on Heretics is still under contract, at least until next year. So he was the one person whose contract was running out anyway. So yeah, presumably they've just maybe it was a mutual thing and nobody wanted to continue with it. It's kind of brutal if you did get kicked. Like imagine, imagine partly getting kicked by your brother as well. But I mean that's like
I think you would be used to it. I mean,
it's kind of the
getting
nature of
bullied
like
by your
them
older brother
both
isn't like a
being
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're both competitors. Like you've got to expect that they're both trying their best for their careers and to win. Who
It's
so
it's it's
you
it's kind of
assume
funny in a way if you think about it, Lee. No,
yeah.
no, before that, like if you think about it, EMA has always had a history of like these brothers being like on the same team or on opposite teams, and it's funny that it's happened twice. Like first there was like Doom Bros and Emil, or yeah, Emil and Eric, like the two coaches, and now we got like these guys, and they're also having like a little breakup. So it's just funny it happened twice. Like I have two nickels now, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, if we assume that the rest of the players who are all under contract or are all staying, who would you like to see be the fifth to join and replace Mini?
Just do what Fnatic did, bro. Watch Ascension, pick up the
Yeah,
best duelist, and slot him into your team. Like, we're great for Fnatic. Kayak was in the top of every single stat
yeah,
board. Groups, Kayak. Playoffs, Kayak. Top kills, Kayak. Yeah, so just get a nice rookie. You want somebody who can fit into your team, who doesn't have any bad habits, who's eager to prove themselves, and I think we saw all of that work out great for Kayak. So,
yeah. And actually,
it's a good strategy. Just
we should give him a mention. Like, I know we like moved on from champs, but like on the day, so everyone, I think all the press that were there could vote on like the finals MVP, and then after so he was like the only Fnatic player that really turned up the first two maps, and then he was popping off when they were winning as well, and I was like even when NRG were going to win, I was like, do I put Kayak? They're not going to cap my vote if I put Kayak anyway, but I was like, no, it is Brock, but he was for him to be the one that actually turned up like under the pressure as well. Like I feel like they've had an absolute like worldie of a transfer to have got him. And obviously, like again, it's like the best duelist in tier 2 is like not that maybe don't need the craziest scouts to pick him up, but you don't know that he's going to play under that kind of pressure until he's there and does it. And fucking hell, like what a player he looks like. So they're very lucky, I
I don't
think,
know. I
Fnatic.
mean, like lucky and all. I mean, to be fair, it's Fnatic. I think they've had some W pickups throughout the years. I mean, when they picked up Leo as well, yes, he was good in tier 2, but there was that same kind of question, like, is he gonna perform at the same level in VCT? And yeah, Leo was just like, screw you guys, I'll be fine. I'm gonna bully everybody on
He
my
played
way. Like,
international still, though,
I'm
hadn't he,
gonna get
for
the
Guild?
MVP.
Did he play at a
He did.
Masters?
He played a Masters. He played Copenhagen, I think, and he shit on Optic, if I remember correctly. Like Guild 2-0'd Optic, and that was right after they won their trophy at Reykjavik. So everybody was like, Optic, oh my god, an EMEA rookie team, they're gonna get bodied. And I mean, it was more of those call an ambulance, but not for me kind of like
Yeah.
tournaments there. I mean, okay, Guild weren't able to win it, but they did. I think they did make it to playoffs and stuff. So all things considered, it wasn't terrible for them. And then Leo joins Fnatic, and it's just a super
That's
team,
his
and
history.
they just go winning everything that year.
Speaking of Fnatic, then, out of contract, this, I don't know when they officially end, maybe this month, next month. Boaster, Chronicle, Crashies, all out of contract. No updates
I
yet.
don't know about Crashies, but I'm pretty sure Boaster, the rest of the team is going to want to stick together. Like, you get close to a trophy, not one, not two, but 3 times. There's got to be something there. At some point, the magic has to spark. Like, look at Vaporux. They had the same core for 3.5 years. And I mean, they won a trophy. Fnatic's at least won trophies before. They know they can do
Yeah.
it. 3 of them have done that. So, I mean, Chronicle, Boaster, and Alpha together have won like 2 trophies. So I don't think they would want to split apart. I don't think Fnatic would want them to leave either. Like, I think that it probably will be
I
a
feel like
contract
Fnatic would be
extension. I'll be
absolutely
very
insane
surprised.
to try to make changes if they don't have to.
At least with these 3, like Durka for Kayak made sense because I feel like a duelist is the role that you can easily replace. And again, Crashies for Leo made sense because Leo just wasn't available and you needed somebody of the same caliber who's won trophies before. And there weren't that many initiator players available like as free agents. So Crashies made perfect sense. And I mean, for Crashies as well, you're probably traumatized after playing on the 2023 NRG roster. You guys had so many expectations and then you just get like completely bullied the whole year. So it was probably like, yeah, let me go join a dependable team where I'm not the only one
Yeah.
being depressed.
Yeah, literally, Crashies. I interviewed him in April, and he literally gave me the easiest layup like title quote of my life, like almost completely unprompted. It was so good.
What
so
is it?
It was like obviously by then, like you could see he had the relationship with Boaster and that already. And I asked him about like, and Boaster, when I interviewed him right before, had said that the vibes in the team was the best he'd ever had in his career. So I said something. The question was like, how much easier does it make it to join a new team in a new region when the vibes are this good? And then he said it just makes it so easy, especially because by last year I came from NRG where it was the complete opposite. I was thinking like, and that's one of those like, in the moment you're like, yes,
yes.
Val Comp is gonna love this one. They did, of course, but you just love it when they do a quote like that. That's like the cynical journalist, like, oh yes, no, I know my title already, and I've spoken to you for like a minute and a half. So that was nice.
I mean, it's also like it's because so many of these players just don't admit it. Like,
Yeah.
it was an okay environment, but I could have done better. Like, no, say it like it is. It fucking sucked. You suffered. Be honest about it. That's what we want to hear. So it feels nice to know that you were right. And I feel like for so many of those people, like, I mean, to be fair, NRG had their moments last year, mostly bad moments, but they had their moments. They were funny. And this year as well, they have continued to be the gift that keeps on giving. I think, especially, I still remember the meme in the beginning of the year after Chet left, and he was like to Bonkar, "Good luck getting paid in chicken nuggets." And then Bonkar wins the tournament, and then he tags Chet,
so
and he's like, "Look at my salary, look at all these nuggets." And Chet gets so pissed that he blocks him and goes private. Like, that is the kind of crap I live for. Please talk your shit.
And it's even better when they both talk shit before the tournaments, before anyone's won as well. Anyone could talk shit after they win. You've got to do it before, and then it really comes good. And it fucking hell, yeah, came good for Bonkar. Fair play.
Good for him.
Were there any other roster stuff that you saw that piqued your interest? Patty Tech, I saw exploring options. Well, I think that was a Sheep Esports one. I don't know what his contract.
Yeah, a couple of
was.
Chinese teams as well. I think that Billy was having bail leave. I think he's their coach, if I'm not wrong. So he's gonna be looking for another head coach position in China or Pacific, which honestly might not be bad because I feel like Billy's playstyle in particular kind of fits in the Pacific playstyle, chaotic and kind of being fiery. Shilai Gaming is also allowing Hyoya to explore options. So For those who don't know him, he's a Russian player, came in from tier 2, played in a bunch of regions in Pacific, and then joined this team as their head coach. And even though XOG are gonna have one more year in the VCT because they managed to kick Sentinels out of champions, a fact that I was very happy about just for the memes. Like I felt bad for Sen, but come on, if you're gonna really lose like that after all the shit talking you do, like I saw Sen making a tweet like, "We are the only team to make it to every international this year," and G2 were just like, "Oh, look, Sen handed themselves a participation trophy. Isn't that cute?" And I was just like, "Yes, let's go. We love Twitter beef."
I mean, it's a good achievement, but yeah, it's like clutching at straws to be like really boast about it when you won fuck all afterwards. I mean, you won fuck all the whole year, so there we go. Actually,
I guess
funny enough, looking at
you won Americas, so it's better.
no, but Sentinels, I mean,
G2 anyway.
yeah.
Oh no, Sen
That's what I'm
haven't won
saying.
shit. They've
Like
just been making
to be like
memes.
posting that, like we made every international the only team worldwide. It's like yeah, one of the teams worldwide that didn't win anything. So there you go. Interestingly, looking at the contract database for China, it looks to be like just glancing it quickly, the region with like by far the least players running out of contract this year. Like almost every team has got like 1, 2, some of them 3-year contracts on loads of their players. So it's not maybe as like it is not guaranteed maybe to have as much of a shuffle as some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting.
I think also because China's league started a little bit later,
Yeah,
so all of these contracts that we see running out are like the end of the 3 and 4 year contracts that people had. So China still has those running. We'll probably see the same thing in another year or two in the same region. So
yeah,
that might be
probably.
a factor. Not sure about it, but you never know, right?
Yep. Maybe just one last thing then before we wrap up, which was the news in EMEA, which absolutely shocked everybody, which was that Gentlemates have joined VCT EMEA.
Oh wow,
next year.
so surprising. I never would have expected it.
To be fair,
I mean, let's be real, guys.
They did their show trial. They said that there were 10 invitees, 9 of
whom
which
9 attended.
yeah. It's funny that I mean the Falcons one is quite supposedly Falcons is the 10th that rejected it, which was quite a funny one because like I feel like they cannot go in any Riot league anyway because Riot requires you to like tell them who your owners are, and they're definitely not going to do that. So they kind of it almost looks like they kind of invited them knowing they're going to reject anyway, just as like a goodwill thing. Like, well, we invited you, so we've got a good relationship. Ibai probably feels a bit vindicated, having said that Gentlemates will be in a week, and now they're here after 3 weeks or 3 or 4 weeks.
I mean, if I isn't wrong, I'm pretty sure everybody knew it was gonna be Gentlemates after Koi shit the bed. Like, let's be real. They're a team that has the money. They're a team that has the fan base. They're a team that's already there. They were already in VCT, and yeah, they were kind of shit, but at least they were close shit. They weren't completely like stomped like Koi. So I feel like the Gentlemates roster performed much better this year than the Koi roster. That's not saying much. It's like saying like, yeah, $1 is less money than $2, but if you want to buy a sandwich anyway, like a good sandwich, it's not going to be enough either way. Yeah, it's a terrible way to like look at yourself. I do hope we get to see a better team from Gentlemates. And anyway, I mean, in the long scale of things, it doesn't matter because the current VCT format is probably going to change after the 5-year period. I think Leo Faria was saying that at Champs as well, from 2027, we're going to make some changes. We're going to focus more on tier 2, blah, blah, blah. And you could already see signs of that. I think that was one more announcement at Champs that I really liked. They're around stage 2, challengers teams are actually going to get like a stipend, and they're going to get like more support, which I think has been a big problem in tier 2 for the last few years. So at least it's nice to see Riot is using some of that shiny skin money for good reasons. I think that tier 2 really needed the support because tier 1 fails without tier 2, and a lot of the players have been really suffering, especially those who are not from EMEA or NA, because the orgs around the other parts of the world are of course going to have less investment. Like even in EMEA, like outside of a couple of teams or academy teams, there just aren't enough rosters. Like so many teams are free agents if you look at the challenger leagues happening, whether it's Polaris or whether it's a Turkey one or something else.
Yeah. So go on the Gentlemates thing just for a second, because like you say, it was an obvious choice. In Riot's announcement, they've said what their criteria was. They said organizational goal. What they would be, what they'd be looking into, or like what things they required the orgs to show them. That organizational goals for 2026, which could be anything, but I mean, whatever. That sounds doable for Gentlemates. Collaboration. They wanted collaboration, strategic alignment, and channel strategy, which sounds fine. Like they were like that Squeezy guy was co-streaming everything for them. Like it seemed like their relationship was probably great off of that because he was giving loads of viewers. They needed to show operational readiness. Obviously, they had a team in VCT already. The competitive plans and player support systems. Again, they've been a team that's been around for ages. As long as there's been no dramas, then I'm sure that's fine. And community resonance and ability to generate fandom, which they have spades. So that totally makes sense. Yeah, the stuff for next year was really good. Like, it was slightly frustrating that they did this panel at VCT at Champs where you could go and watch the panel. It wasn't streamed or anything, which was really odd as well. And I think they didn't ever post a VOD anywhere. I think literally the only VOD that exists is
Thank
the
you
one
for writing the article.
I think the only VOD, unironically, that exists of this panel that had like Leo Faria and like 3 other Riot executive people. The only VOD is one that I recorded on my phone and uploaded it on YouTube. And I don't think there's a recording of it anywhere else that's public. Where I think like some of the stuff that they said was known already, but they mentioned about like the stipend, so that teams that got into, well, the tier 2 teams that could get into playoffs in stage 2 for tier 1 will get like I think it was $75,000 as a stipend, plus then they still get prize pool money. I think the prize pool money isn't a lot anyway for Riot's regional stuff. Let me quickly check. If in EMEA at least it was, well, the winners of stage 2 got $100,000. So if a tier 2 team can win that, obviously they're doing pretty good. But you have to get in the top 6 at least to get any prize pool. But still, the 75 grand I'm sure is pretty nice for a tier 2 team. I'm sure that probably they were banged on a bit about sustainability like during that panel, saying that was like a big part of it, which I can understand. Still though, like in tier 2 there's a lot of teams and only 4 of them are going to get that money, so I don't know if it's like, and it's dependent on competitive results and of being the top 4 out of like dozens and dozens of tier 2 teams around whatever region. So I don't feel like it's like guaranteed sustainability, because if you don't get in the top 4 and make it to there, then you don't get that money, so, do you? So, but it was interesting on the panel. It would be nice because there was no questions either, and that was one of the things when there was the betting scandal stuff. People kept saying, well, if only tier 2 had more money, then no one would need to be doing betting stuff. So I wouldn't have minded to be able to ask if there was any thought of that in their mind when they were thinking about sustainability, but there were no questions. So
they're already partnering with Coinbase and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're gonna find a way to make their own betting platform at some point. You know, a few years from now. Call me paranoid, but here's now. Oh yeah, you can bet on your favorite League of Legends game with your own special currency that we have in game, which you can only unlock by buying skins. Time to gamba. You will see. We'll see. I maybe I'm a bit pessimistic about this stuff, but yeah, I think
listen,
I think gacha is the way to go, and it's the way to monetize.
So I'm seeing sports betting is not a foreign concept to me. And to be fair, when you're brought up in the UK, there's like not even a question of a moral thing around it, really. And to be fair, I don't even really mind it, as long as if it's regulated and it's like things are 18 plus and you can verify that. I don't see that it should be like totally outlawed, but that's me. I would only ever do it in a good way of like, I would put on like a £1 bet on like 50 football matches, where if I win I'll get like 100 grand, and if I lose I lost £1, and all it does is it means that I'm just gonna have a bit of fun while I'm watching some games. Obviously if you have a crippling addiction, then it's maybe not so fun. So we'll see how that goes. But there's one thing that I was thinking about it, only because a mildly similar thing came out in League, where in the European League they're going to have a couple of tier 2 teams in there next year for like their first phase of next year, which is a huge scandal there because it's a franchise league that the teams bought into, and now they're going to have 2 tier 2 teams suddenly allowed to play, which isn't great. Obviously VCT doesn't have that issue because it's partnered and it's not franchised. They didn't pay nothing. The teams don't own the slots.
We still got our shit teams, but at least they're there, like, you know, by rules. They didn't buy their way in.
Yeah. But one thing that I wondered, I wasn't sure about, and I just don't know the rules, I'd maybe have to check it, about like minimum age kind of stuff, because in League at least they made the minimum age in tier 1 18 so that teams could have like betting sponsors and alcohol sponsors and things.
Hey, I mean, if you can have the U.S. government as a sponsor for your team, you can have anybody as a sponsor for your team.
Yeah, which
That's
NRG have, which is like the black mark
Exactly,
event
you know.
against their thing. But then because the issue with that is like if in tier 1 you can only be 18, which I guess is the same in VCT. Like I'd assume Riot has it leveled out.
Is it 18 or is it 16? Because I thought Kayak was like 17 or something when he
Maybe
won
it is.
Ascension, if I'm not.
Or wasn't it the guy? Who was the guy that was playing for? Wasn't there a guy playing for Gentlemates that like only joined in stage 2 because he was just about old enough?
I don't remember his name. Perhaps.
Comeback wasn't that guy?
Because I remember last year's second place winner as well. I remember people were so happy that Apex won and not Pacific because 3 of the players were underage. They were like below
Right.
16 or something. So
So
they
this guy
couldn't play in
Comeback,
VCT
so
the next year.
he turned 18 in June and then started playing in stage 2. And I'm sure I remember hearing like that people like he's been smurfing in stage 2 in tier 2, but like this was literally for stage 2 this year was the first time he's old enough. So I'm guessing it is 18.
Yeah, he was the second. Yeah, no, he was the second. He was the second place team last year at Ascension because the Pacific Core was Turkish. They were a Turkish team, so I think that's another reason people were happy they didn't win Ascension. Not because they didn't deserve it, but because
The
2 of their players couldn't have fucking played anyway. Yeah, stay back in tier 2 until you grow up, kids, and come back turned 18 and he got signed immediately. So it makes sense.
The issue you had there then is imagine there's a tier 2 team with players under 18. The age limit in VCT is 18, but then your tier 2 team qualifies for stage 2 playoffs, and your under 18 players play in that because the 18.
I don't think so because
is for like betting
yeah, I
sponsor
think
potentials and stuff like
it's
that.
because especially for EMEA because I think it's because the VCT is in Berlin, right? So they got pretty strict rules about when you got to shut down stuff and people who are allowed and stuff. And yeah, I think they can't really justify having minors on contracts who are playing professionally in a country with actual regulations. So yeah, that makes sense.
The difference, I guess, is maybe like if they're in playoffs and they're just there for like 2 weeks, maybe they get away with it as like tourists. I don't know if that's. I'm not an immigration lawyer.
Just have it in a country with no rules. Like every time there's some kind of weird tournament, or not weird tournament. I think last year's America's Ascension was in Mexico, and this year it's I don't know where the Ascension tournament is, but the play-ins are in Brazil, so I'm guessing Ascension's also going to be there. I mean, at this point, it's very unlikely you're going to get visas easily for the U.S. with the current state of the government. So just go chill in Brazil, party a little bit. The vibes are good.
But anyway,
the weather is good. It's summer in South America. Yeah.
Exactly. Even better. Yeah, that was just one worry I had about that. Like that thing sounds great about having tier 2 teams be able to play and potentially fight for champs. But if they're a tier 2 team that's full of under 18 players, that might be an issue. I don't know. We'll see how that gets handled. That might just like completely ruin the whole thing. So then if you end up subbing out your whole team, then what's the point of even having them there? So
I mean, we saw a team do that this year, Lee. I don't know. I just want to point this out because this record was very funny to me. I was looking at the most fucked up VCT records this year, and I think this is definitely up in the top 5. A team won their only game in the VCT league with all substitute players. The only game that Furia won this year was with 5 NA players who were substituted because they couldn't get visas for their original 5. And every single time their full roster played, they just got bullied. Their substitute roster 2-0'd, and after that they didn't win a single game. So I'm just saying, there are worse things you can do than sign 5 substitutes, as Furia has proven this year.
True.
RIP Furia.
And if you just got a 75 grand stipend, you just pick up all the best tier 2 players with that to play for 2 weeks anyway, and then go to champs.
Yeah, pretty much. As well. Yeah, work for NRG.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not really, but yeah.
I think that's it. That's all I had on my list. Have you got anything? Any final topics you wanted to chat?
I mean, I think we were gonna chat about this in 2 weeks once we know the results. But yeah, Ascension's coming up. I think we've got basically all the regional teams locked in. I think for NA, you've still got the play-ins. So you still have to decide one more team. I think that's gonna be heading in. But yeah, aside from that, I think for NA, I'm also excited because we have the first collegiate team who's gonna be playing in Ascension, basically, because Winthrop Esports made it to Challengers and then they qualified. And if they can win the play-ins, they will be the first team to play in Ascension from Collegiate. So I think that's pretty cool. Aside from that, I mean, you've got the usual regional suspects across the board. In terms of favorites, I think from EMEA, I would probably have to say the teams from Polaris look pretty strong. I always like to bet on the Turkish teams. They always pleasantly surprise me because I don't know what they eat down there, but they are just so insane. Especially like everybody plays like it's Paper X or something. I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Turkish players. They're the goats. So yeah, probably the Turkish reps. I think
they're eating kebabs and then they get to Berlin and they feel at home still. So Well, they can turn up.
I think that's just a European thing at this point. Like kebab is the new popcorn or something. You just find it at every street corner. It's great.
Not
And think
complaining.
about it. It's like protein that's like cheap, and you know, it's good in a way if you think about it.
Even
But
better if
yeah,
you're
kebab jokes apart.
even better if you've had a few drinks as well. Can't beat it.
100%. 100%. Yeah, grab a beer in Berlin, get some kebab, go practice Valorant. I think yeah, Turkish team's gonna win champions someday. But yeah, jokes apart, I think I really like the Turkish teams in general, and I think that in GC, EMEA as well, the Turkish players are some of the best players. Like I'm a personal G2 Vania fan, so yeah. Apart from that, I mean, Ascension's happening. I think Pacific starts tomorrow. They've also got like multiple league representatives. I think I really like Fulsons this year. They also have Boom returning. There's a disparity in slots. So because G2 didn't completely, since G2 had a good year and they made it to champions, even if they didn't win anything at the end of it internationally, they will get to retain their slots in America's VCT for another year. And XLG as well, because they were able to take down Sen, they get to retain their slots. So I think for China and for Americas, there's only going to be one team qualifying, but there are two slots open for EMEA as well as um I think
Pacific.
Americas? No, sorry, EMEA as well as Pacific. Yeah, I forgot about the fourth league for a second. But yeah, so because I think both Boom as well as Senprisa weren't able to qualify for champions, and it's the same case with Gentlemates and Apex. Both of them are pretty bad. At least Boom and Senprisa gave us some good games, I would say.
Oh,
I know I just sound like a hater, but I don't like to watch boring Valorant, so forgive me.
no, that's understandable. I really feel for DRG so much. Like you can get to champs, but because you XLG won like one more series than them, then you've still got to fight for your place. One thing that kind of bugs
And
me. Oh,
it's
go on.
no, it's just sad as well because you know they got to fight Sentinels and you have to fight G2. Like, why couldn't we get the shittier Americas
Yeah,
team? It's so unfair.
exactly. One thing that bugs me, and this is something I've seen in like different esports that have this kind of relegation thing where you're in the league, but then because you finish wherever, you've got to go into like the promotion tournament to stay in the league. And this is like such a minor thing that bugs me. That a lot of people will explain it that the team got relegated and then they re-win the slot back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's such a weird way to explain it because you can't. I don't know. It's just like a personal bugbear. If you go down to Ascension and you win Ascension and stay in, where the fuck were you relegated to? You never played a game in Tier 2. You're still in. Last year you're in Tier 1. Next year you're in Tier 1. I feel like you're relegated.
I mean, yeah,
If
but
you
you
get
have to play
relegated to Tier
against.
2.
I think it makes sense because like EMA I think has like one of the best explained models. So if you suck mid, you just get dropped back to Ascension. If you suck really bad, you don't even get to play Ascension. You just
Yeah.
get knocked down to Tier 2. That's what happened to Gentlemates, but because Koi shit the bed again, they get to go back to VCT for another year. But that's what should have happened to them. They would have been playing
Yeah.
in Challengers next year,
But to
and
me,
they would have to
Apex.
earn the chance to get
Yeah.
back.
Apex and Gentlemates
Yeah,
were
Apex is in
relegated
Challengers.
firmly.
Yeah, exactly. They were terrible. They didn't even make playoffs, so they didn't even get to play Ascension. So I think there were like tiers of qualification.
Yeah.
So you know, depending on how terrible you were, where you participate. And I think for teams that did get to make it to champions, I think that they've proven that they can play at a tier 1 level. I think that them playing in Ascension again is just a way to make sure that they are still the best tier 2 representative
Really, so
out
that
there because they are basically.
so they can still have an Ascension tournament. Otherwise, Tier 2 have played for nothing all year, isn't it? So because XLG did a bit better, then it's
That
like
too.
poor
That's a more
DRG,
cynical
you've
way
got
to
to do
say
it.
it. Yeah, but I think also it makes sense in a way because every year the meta changes. There are like new players coming up, and you know, Apex they might have been good. They might have been the best Ascension team this year, but or sorry, in 2024. But you know, 2025 there might be a new challenger who's even stronger, like some kind of a team that's been working really hard that might take you by surprise. So I think having them in Ascension feels fair because I think that
Yeah.
look, if you really sucked in Tier 1 and you weren't able to qualify for champs and you know maintain your slot anyway, there's probably there might be somebody better out there. So let's Tier 2 have their shot,
Yeah.
I would say. And but yeah, I do think that playing for an entire year to have a chance at 1 or 2 slots is kind of a messed up system. So hopefully Riot does kind of make that a little bit better in 2027,
Yeah.
2026. 2027, yeah, that's when they're talking about the changes. So
Yeah. And to be fair, my bugbear that I have with it as well is I think it's just more exacerbated in the VCT model where you do have those 3 tiers of what the teams can do. If they go to champs, they stay. They don't get playoffs or top 8, then they are relegated. And then in the middle, if they get to like the top 8 but don't go to champs, then they have to fight for their slot. And for me, like if you're DRG, I don't consider them relegated until if and when it might happen that they don't win Ascension and keep the slot. If that doesn't happen, then they're relegated and they're in tier 2 next year. I don't feel that they're relegated until we know they're playing in tier 2. That's just my personal thing.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I
That's
just
just
find it
terrible
weird
phrasing. I think
yeah. It's just
that's your editor brain coming out, Lee.
It's just my personal thing. Also, yeah, and like, not to dox myself, like my day job is like involves having to get knowledge from my head into other people's heads. So I have to be able to explain things clearly in the most simple way. And when I hear people say like DRG got relegated, I don't think they got relegated because they could still be in tier 1 next year. That's just my personal thing that like I'm overly angry about for no reason that no one else probably cares about. So there you go. That's my hot take. That's not very hot. I think we're done then.
I think it's logical. I think
Yeah.
it's logical. It's fair. I don't disagree with you. I think you can find better phrasing. You know, as a billion-dollar company, you can probably put some work
Well, I don't
into
think that's the thing.
how
I
you
don't
want
think
to
Riot
phrase
even
things.
says it's. I don't think they say they're relegated, but
They don't. I thought they did. Like relegated back to Ascension, relegated back to Challengers.
Maybe they do. From what I remember, I don't see them using that word. It's just like how people describe it, like generally in just the nomenclature of esports. But anywho, I suppose we should wrap it there, and I should probably go and have some dinner. I'll let you get back to planning your fun stuff you're doing.
Oh yes, I'm on vacation from tomorrow. I'm going to the beach and not looking at my computer for a week, for at least not playing Valorant for a week. After that, we're going to a gaming cafe. It's my 5-stack, so of course we're gonna go to a gaming cafe. Like who am I kidding?
Yeah, that's best. You do that at the end, so that if when there's any like people.
That's the plan. That's
so
the
that when
plan.
people get mad at each other, it's like, well, okay, so yeah, we're going home anyway.
Yeah, more than that, it's like yeah, for the first week, none of us want to look at Valorant because yeah, I don't know about you, but I've had a bit of an overload of Valorant in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, I would still like to keep up with the news and stuff, but I don't want to touch the game, especially with the new patch hitting. Like I'm just gonna play a couple of games tonight and remember it fondly. That's about it. I've almost unlocked the new agent, so I'll try him out today before I leave.
Good luck. And yeah, we'll have fun.
You.
And we will see you here in a couple of weeks, probably, on the next episode. And yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.